Network or mine. And good evening from beautiful Waynesville, North Carolina, and Winston-Salem. Good evening, Chuck. Welcome to the David and Chuck Show. Good evening, Chuck.
Hey, good after. No, it is good evening.
It is. It is good evening.
Here, is it raining up there?
Yeah, we're going to have rain. It's just going to be a all weekend. Matter of fact, as soon as you said that, you can hear it bouncing. Yeah, it's coming down hard now. But anyway, a special Friday night edition of the David and Chuck Show. Tonight's senior night for the young men and women and cheerleaders for Tuscola basketball. A lot of the coaches, Jonathan and a lot of his football coaches are down at the coaches clinic. They'll be back sometime this weekend, and we've got a special edition. We got two shows coming up, Chuck. We got tomorrow is the first of a two-part series on the Jonathan Crompton show for our four seniors who have signed football scholarships to play at the next level. Really looking forward to talking to these four young men, and we got two of them tomorrow that are going to be in studio. The other two have prior commitments, but we got four kids playing. We got Stephen Brooks, and you know Stephen well, if I'm not mistaken, Chuck.
Yes.
He signed at Pres. Go ahead.
I have a video of Stephen and I at Dario's down here when Pisgah was playing in the Oak Grove second round of the playoffs. I mean, almost an hour of getting to know this guy, and he's just a wonderful human being. He was down to support his cousin, David Brooks, who plays at Pisgah. Now, Stephen, who signed Wednesday, got reciprocated because David Brooks went over to Tuscola High and to support his cousin Stephen on a wonderful day and his signing for Presbyterian. So,
yeah,
close.
Hey, it is big, and it's a big time program. Big South. Looking forward to talking to him. We will talk to him, and the next one we're going to talk about is Jed West, quarterback Jed West signed with Campbell, and those two young men will be on. We're trying to get their schedules all worked out, but we'll have them on next week during the week. Those two young men, and congratulations to Jed and Stephen. Well deserved. And a heck of a lot of effort, and I can tell you that I know how hard you got to work to get the opportunity to play at the next level. Tomorrow, I'm thrilled we're going to have Josh Kruger, who signed with with Lenore Ryan, one of the top programs in the SAC and one of the top programs in Division II in the nation. Big time signing. Big time program, big time player with Mr. Kruger. And Bryant, now I always mess it up, and I've studied all day because I don't want to show any disrespect, and I'm serious. This kid is Bryant Ancier, who came from nowhere. Nobody knew that there was a receiver, much less a receiver at Tuscola, that was going to be a college football player. And I can tell you that I know for a fact he signed at Virginia Wise. And I can tell you that I know this for a fact, Chuck. There were programs fighting over him. I know that to be a fact. And what a quality kid. And I know that all year, from the second you saw him play, you fell in love with him.
I did. Just a twitchy type guy, had length. So when you put him into the secondary, he can defeat defenders. He can outbattle 50-50 balls. He had great speed. He just hadn't figured it out yet. And somewhere in the season, I would think somewhere around middle of the season, the light switch went on, and he went, and then he went off. So I love, he's got a professional, former pro wide receiver coach at Virginia Wise. And so he's going to be a sponge and pick up all the things that he needs to pick up to be a great wide, to be the best he can be.
Yeah.
And most importantly, he's smart, articulate guy who doesn't talk. He articulates, but he's not, you got to drag some of the things out. He's just a shy, humble guy.
He's not like you and I.
No. We don't. Yeah. No, he's not.
So, it's, a lot of people don't know, most of the folks know, like from with my family and my world, that, where my kid played at the next level. A lot of people don't know your young man played at Appalachian State.
Yes, he did.
So, we've been around this for a long, long time, and we've seen a whole lot. And it didn't take me long to understand that, just from watching practice early, the leadership of the two linemen of Krug and Brooks, who have the cornerstones of the program, and then to watch Jed come in and didn't get here till August the 1st and be the guy. Then his teammates flocked to him, and then to watch the growth of Bryant. Just four quality kids that I couldn't be happier for, that are going to get a chance to get a quality education, because they're all four going to really, really outstanding universities.
Right.
Really, really great academic institutions. And that, to me, that's more important than football.
Well, kids go off, and when you go, any of our children, when they go off to college, it is to get that degree. That's what you're going off to do. Rarity is you get to play a sport while you're there, and you don't have to turn in your competition badge. You can continue to compete and in a sport that you absolutely love to do. And it's different, because on Saturdays when games are over with, you sit and see the campus as the sun's starting to set. The thing is that it is just something very rare the kids get to do. But, these kids were extremely hard at what they did in the weight room, but also in the classroom. They were responsible enough to get the classroom fixed or their academic house in order. And it opens so many doors for you, not just for football opportunity at the next level, but for your career after college.
In life. Because, the thing that, again, we talked about all year on the coaches show, we talked about it on our show, is the seniors in this class. And there were a couple of other kids that could have gone on and played at the next level, but have made other choices as far as they want to go and dive head on into the academics of it. I know that there was one that you knew that you were telling me, hey, this guy's a football player. This is a linebacker that's going to play at the next level, but he made the choice he didn't want to, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I say that, I mean, they didn't know what was happening until April the 1st. The program didn't they didn't know what they were going to do until April the 1st, and then coach walked in, and everything that had been A, B, C, and D to these kids, and especially these seniors, was now LMNOP as far as the football side of it first. Jonathan runs things a little different as far as the non-football side, so was a big factor. But just on the football side, it was like learning a foreign language, and they bought in, and they did an amazing job as far as what they did. You go back, and I can sit here and tell you that there's 3 games that's just one play. And but hey, that's if fans and butts was candy and nuts, every day be Christmas. But they bought in, and these young men reaped the benefits and earned everything that they got. And I'm really excited to hear from them starting tomorrow. I'm really, really excited. I want Bryant to open up and talk to us. We might have to get on him some, pressure him a little bit, and Josh. It's not going to take much. It's just going to be, hello, Josh, how are you? Because and this kid, I'm looking forward. We're going to have great conversation and learn a lot about these guys. I want to talk to them from Little League on football wise, and what their hopes and dreams are in the future.
Right. Well, it's going to be fun tomorrow to get half of the crew that signed, but I'm happy for them. I mean, I'm ecstatic for them because, as at McDowell County, I kept the film up to, watching the games up to McDowell County, watch on streaming. The game I went live at McDowell County, I just fell in love with Brian Ancea, because I mean I like, who is this cat? I mean,
yes, you did, and that's a legitimate thing that you're saying. You're not just saying it because you're on here, because you
right.
Looked at me and said, and this is a quote, and who the hell is that?
And I meant that in a good way, Mom and Dad.
Yes. Yes.
He was so impressive. I happened, I watched the game, but I couldn't take my eyes off of Ancea. I kept watching everything he did. When the play ended, where was he going? How was he, what type of person he was? He didn't trash talk. He didn't say anything bad. And that was a chippy game at McDowell County. He kept us cool. Very smart kid. So I watched him, and just when I left there, I was so impressed with a lot of the players. But my guy at the top of the list was Ancea, and I knew it in my heart that kid, just like the John Bradley situation that I had when I was at Mount Airy, and then later at Tarboro, got him to Vanderbilt. I knew in my heart that Ancea could play.
Yeah,
and so did Virginia Wise.
Yeah, and there's some stories that, and the stories that you're going to talk about tomorrow. But I will tell you that like Lenore Ryan with Krug, it wasn't a, hey, yeah, we got a spot for you. It was, ma'am, come here, and the same thing. I know that there were about 4 programs fighting over Bryant. Not just a little bit, but a lot, and he, and he made the choice that was best for him. I think all 4 of these young men ended up making choices that were best for them, because the reality is they could have gone to school together. I know that all 4 could have separated and gone 2 and 2 to the same school.
Right.
That's a fact. But they made the choices and decisions that that were best for them, their family, and their futures. And I think that shows maturity. And you got to commend the people in their life that help them too in this situation, because it's not easy.
They had multiple choices to decide from, as you had said, but you work the phones, and and it's been my experience that a college or a high school football coach who is outstanding, like a Donnie Kiefer, played at Illinois Ryan. Uh, John played at Tennessee. You have on the Tuscola staff, you have Chambers that played first at Western and then finished up his career at Appalachian State. So he played 5 years in football. And you got McCracken, who played at Carson Newman. Went to Carson Newman in that. And then over on the other side, you got Hannah, who played at Western Carolina at Pisgah. You got a guy who's been through it, knows it. He can get kids in because he works the phones. He understands where a kid can go. I was just spending my time on the kid I'm mentoring over on the other side. And we got onto the discussion about perfect fits. And I said, well, there's no perfect fit. But the fact is that you let your heart tell you where you want to go. And my heart tells me that the bigger the school, the worse situation it is for you. This 3 years, going our 4th year together, that have mentored him. And I felt that you need a small college environment, one that's similar to like Perfect Fit would be, not a perfect fit, but one of the better fits for you would be Davidson College, because his GPA is 4.31 and probably will finish with 4.5. Hell, you could take my 4 years and couldn't end 4.5,
I'm in there.
So you're trying to find the place that your heart says this is where you want to go, this is where you need to go. And I asked them, you want to find a place that is this the place where you can sit on the bench for 2 years and stay 5 years and try and get an advanced degree or starting toward your advanced degree, but you may be on the bench 2 to 3 years of those 5 with the red shirt. Is this a place where you can sit on the sideline for a number of years? And that's an honest question to ask yourself. So this young lad over there, and it's Stephen's cousin, David Brooks. And so, we're looking at those types of schools, and, I'm sure every kid wants to see big schools, but, I don't know where we're at on that, on a football standpoint. He just broke his foot, dropped a weight on his foot. He lives in the weight room, and he dropped a weight on his foot. He's in a what do you call a boot for 6 weeks. Knucklehead. But anyhow, back to the kids at Tuscola. Ancea was a kid I don't want to say, I just had that in that, oh my gosh, this kid is special. Watch every move he made. And kids that are coming up, make sure when the lights go on Friday night and that camera goes on, you're being watched even after the whistle. You're being watched standing on the sidelines because remember when we were down at Western with Wagner and they had the coaching staff in that big room, we were standing there watching this thing, and all of a sudden the coach says, hey, there he is, he's on the sidelines, watching what he does. Was he by himself? Or, he said, no, he's with his teammates. He's talking with them. He was telling them he was making motions and everything. So he was in the game. That impressed the coaches. Yeah. So they watch you when you're not playing or when the play is over with. They watch every minute they can of that tape to find you. A collection of coaches in a room dissecting, finding your warts.
Everything. And so looking forward to tomorrow. We're going to be on the air at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's the Jonathan Crompton Show. It is a 2-part special, and tomorrow morning is part 1. And we're going to have Josh Kruger, 6'5", 305-pound offensive lineman. It's what he's listed at at Lenore Ryan and Bryant Ancier, I think is going to play early and often at Virginia Wise. It's just my opinion because he can make plays. But that's, again,
I think he has the skill to be great. Don't know about I don't know what they have, but I would allow him a year to just figure everything out in that year and then play 4.
he's going to be good.
But figure out quickly how to do the classwork.
Of these 4 kids, I don't think that's an issue, Chuck.
Right.
I just did,
all 4 of them,
yeah.
They got their academic house in order. They're proving that they can do this work. I had a guy tell me one key is never, ever get behind in your work. If he says read chapter 2 that night. So by the time you go to the next class, you've read the chapter. And number 2 is never miss a class. Those 2 things, you will have a brilliant career. And, because you will pick up stuff, you're learning, you're critically thinking. And that's all you need to do is never get behind where you're playing catch up. Because if you're playing catch up, you're not learning this stuff as you go. And so you're just trying to get the work done. And when it comes test time, you're like, oh no. Like me in art history class, my first semester in my freshman year, one test, the only test I failed. And I called my mom and says, I'm getting out. I'm what they call here is I'm dropping and adding. So, I couldn't see the symmetrical lines and everything they were talking about. And I told the lady, the professor, I said, I'm from Flint. We don't see this stuff, inner city kids don't see this. You see this divestiture and that's coming down and you got these symmetrical lines working with you. And I'm like, no, I don't see it. So
I'm going back to Flint to beat somebody up.
You've seen our artwork in the city of Flint
right.
when we were there.
So anyway, looking forward to tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I think it's going to be really special. Tell your friends, tell your family to tune in. There's a lot of Mountaineers that are juniors, sophomores, freshmen, 8th graders, 7th graders, all the way on down that are going, well, I want to do that. Well, here's your example.
Right.
Here's your example.
We have people on the other side that listens in. We would be, we don't want to omit Pisgah's Titus Bridges, who at the day after signing day signed with Gardner Webb. And he was a player. So we have 5 kids from our county going off to play. And that's exciting. Any kid that goes, even the ones that want to walk on.
That's right.
Go do it. Go get your degree, play football.
Now, question.
Answer.
After you got sucked in, and I got sucked in, because I haven't watched the NFL in 8-10 years, and right. I know that you're probably about the same, maybe longer. So we all got sucked in on the lines, and they should be playing Sunday. They were the better football team, but sometimes it's okay to kick, but that's just me. But are you going to watch the Super Bowl?
No.
I don't think I am. I don't think I am either.
No, I'm not.
Janet just said, then you're going downstairs because I am. She just laid the law to me.
You'll have to watch it with your bride. So
if Detroit, because they were, I think, not really about the football for the Lions story. It was great and all that good stuff, but just because of the region and the city and the region, has been through so much. And then the Lions have been the most snake bit franchise probably in professional sports in the last 40, maybe 50 years.
Right.
And and everybody was captivated. Everyone was captivated by it. And it's okay to kick. It's okay to kick.
It should have.
And now you got to, but that, it is what it is. But I know that my daughter and my granddaughter are going to watch to quote my granddaughter, the Taylor, the Swifty Chiefs. They are all in on the Chiefs.
Well, I hope the Swifty Chiefs wins for her.
Oh my God, they're eating up with it.
Look,
I mean,
I'm
but
not because of Swift and Kelsey or Mahomes. I've seen enough Mahomes to, replays and all that stuff and hear people talk about him. It's just that I spent the time on the Lions, and then it was just the game itself got away from being a professional football. It has nothing to do with who's playing in it.
Yeah, you're right.
Stand for it's just I'm going back to my personal boycott. I asked nobody else to join it. It's my personal one. But, the Lions could have done something for 50 years up until my dad. When my dad passed in 2006 on November 21st on a Tuesday, in 2006, that's it. I never watched, didn't watch a game. Except the Super Bowl when we were over at our house up the mountain with Lloyd.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, that one was the NFC Championship game.
Oh, okay.
They gave it away, and we thought that Lloyd wouldn't even talk to us. Remember how angry he was because we started harassing him. We were just picking, and he didn't. And woo.
I was in the kitchen most of the time with Janet trying to figure out the recipe of some of the things that she brought over there.
Well, no, we were trying to steal all the roast beef that you made the roast. So yeah, that's some good stuff. And then I tell Janet, I said, "Man, that's some good roast." And she says, "Well, he puts onions in." I said, "No, I don't eat onions." And she said, "Well, there was onions in it, and it was really good, and you ate it, you idiot."
There are onions.
But hey, let me show you what I was showing you.
What?
The folks that know me know, Janet and I worked really hard. We're trying to get physically better, and we have. And I'm proud of us in the last year. But this girl, I eat I roasted peanuts. I eat them a little at a time. They're good. They're protein, and it makes me feel like I'm a normal person to eat something like that. And I went to the store about 2 weeks ago, and I get those Cajun spicy ones, And she said, "Well, we don't have any of those, but we've got spicy dill pickle peanuts." I said, "You're crazy. I don't want that." She said, "You need to try it, Mr. Crompton." So I grabbed it. Chuck, you need to go get you some spicy dill pickle peanuts. These things are that good.
Do they come in a small bag? Yeah, I mean, is that the bag they come in?
Yes. And they are that good on a different subject. Now, the Dodgers reported today. We have not made our I hope that now it's going to be our annual futures bets.
Right.
But in the National League, because we're going to talk just a little bit of baseball, and folks, don't tune out because we're talking baseball and we're not talking about high school sports in Tuscola, but there's other things we want to talk about on this show. So hang in with us and tell us what you think. In the National League, if you had to say this team is going to win the National League pennant today, I would say the Dodgers. They are loaded. They are loaded.
This is going to be a hard one because we got bit, and that's not my fault. I mean, not knowing that, you win the division, you're going to be off a week
Yeah.
or up to a week.
Yeah.
So when the season ended Monday, and then all of a sudden they start back up on Saturday, they went 1-12. So what I'm looking for is the wild card, the best.
Yeah. No.
wild
No.
card
No. No.
team
No.
to
No.
win
I want you.
the
Yeah. I
national
know what you're saying.
and an American League. And National League is that if the Dodgers could be the Dodgers winning the National League West, maybe that's a possibility. Is there any other team? There's the Arizona Diamondbacks that had a great run. Are they going to repeat, or was it just a flash in the pan type thing? The team's so loaded down in San Diego, you just keep every year you're saying, come on. I mean, what is preventing these guys from getting to win their division?
The Padres, the clubhouse.
Yeah.
The clubhouse.
Yeah.
Period. End of discussion. In my opinion.
Right away, at this point in time, I'm thinking, okay, the Dodgers are going to win the NL West. That's where I am leaning right there. Could the wild card team come out of that? Could it be another Arizona team? They went from 138 to 1 odds to 6. I think it's 66 to 1 odds. No, wait a minute. That's 30 to 1 odds. Arizona to win the National League. Is there anybody in the American League Central? I mean, let me jump back. Yeah, you got it. There's just nobody I think can contend with the LA Dodgers unless the missing of Kershaw to July, that AA pitching staff that they went with because all their key components on the rotation were injured and out. I mean, how are they going to respond to this? That's a question mark for me while we look at it.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to baseball. I think the Dodgers were the first team to report pitchers and catchers today, correct?
Yes, they were the first that they were scheduled on the 9th, while everybody else was the 14th and 15th. So they had Ohtani. I'm sure they're putting Ohtani, although he can't throw. He's going to be, just with the bat in his hand for a year. So everybody's going to report the 14th and 15th, leaving the Dodgers the only ones that reported today.
Well, I'm excuse me. Part of that dill pickle just choked me. Okay, so pitchers and catchers, baseball starting up, college basketball. If you grew up here in the era that I grew up in, you walked around like we talk about with SEC football. You kind of puffed your chest out, and as a conference from top to bottom, always had the best conference. Now UCLA had all their dominance and won those championships, and then Bobby Knight did his stuff at Indiana and all that stuff. But top to bottom in the conference, Tobacco Road was all that in a bag of chips. Man, how the conference has fallen totally.
Right.
Now Carolina's playing really well. Duke's not, Duke is playing pretty good. Wake, I thought at one point Wake was going to have a chance to contend for the regular season championship. That ship has sailed. Clemson has come back to earth once conference season started, but are there only 2 ranked teams right now from the ACC? Would it be Carolina and Duke? Is that it, or am I missing something?
Is Virginia ranked?
I don't know.
Duke, how many ranked teams in the ACC? How many ranked teams in the ACC? There's quite a few of them. They're in the bottom end. They're not in the top.
I'll look.
17, 18, 20, 21, that type of thing. By rankings, which just somebody else's opinion, but I hear what you're saying. They have taken a drop over the last couple of years, and it is what it is.
Nope, there's only 2 ranked teams in the ACC. Carolina's 3rd, Duke is 9th, Virginia should be ranked, but they're not. And everybody else has got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 losses. So, what was once such a, to me, it's really sad to see. And then if or when Florida State says forget the lawsuit, we're out of here, Clemson's not far behind, and then the ACC is going to be done because Carolina's going to go, Duke's going to go, Clemson will be gone. It's the demise, to watch the demise of the ACC in slow motion in any sport, but in general, is someone, again. Now you grew up in the heart of Big Ten country, and we grew up right here in the heart of the ACC, and it's going to die. It will go the way of the Pac-12 if Florida State wins the lawsuit.
I don't know if that is correct. I don't buy that, and it's not. It's just you have this one side. Yes, it's in the progress. It's progressing towards it's going to die, but it's too big of a moneymaker to just let die. So somebody somewhere somehow is going to fix this thing, and they may end up having to ditch the NIL and the transfer portal to get back into the collegiate level and get guys that are going to go to class. I mean, you just got to make the rules and say this is what we're going to do, and allow these kids like baseball players, basketball. They're so advanced on the high school level. Allow them to be drafted like baseball players, and that is, you can go into a minor league for basketball, and you don't have to deal with the collegiate level of not going to class or getting grades in fraudulent academic courses and that type of thing. It's a criminal enterprise on the collegiate level right now.
I think, you cannot, you couldn't. No, that's a true statement. Now, let me make sure when you say that, I absolutely, you're correct. But at the Mars Hills and the Presbyterians and the Carson Newmans and the Lenore Ryans and the Campbells and the schools where you were still a true student athlete, I don't think that's the case. But when you've got the coach of Ohio State that came out in, was it early December or mid-December, and said, I need how many millions of dollars to keep my
13.
I need $13 million. Y'all need to go get this money for me to keep my kids on that I have. Don't worry about the kids we're going to look at and sign, and don't worry about the transfers. I need this just to keep my current roster. Something is way, way wrong.
Right.
So,
and we have been around collegiate sports for 40, 50 years, half a century, more than a half a century. And when you have the big boys doing what they're doing, it will eventually trickle down to D2, and hopefully, yes. And D3 is sort of like absolved from all that because, they can get NIL, but they're not interested in NIL. There's no scholarship money in terms of athletic scholarships. You get, academic scholarships and grants and Pell Grants and all that stuff to go financial aid. So it will trickle down to 1AA. Well, it's starting to, because we had John on here, and some of the things you're listening to, you're like, not exactly happening at Western, but at some other place. And then how long is it before Division II gets in this boat of what's going on?
Oh, well, eventually, yes, but they're getting poached every day. They're getting poached. If you've got a kid that's at Mars Hill, I'll just use Mars Hill as an example. I'm just using it now. I'm not, but you got a kid at Mars Hill that is going to come out here as like a freshman and say he rushes for 1,200 yards. They're coming to poach him.
Right.
The chances of him staying there are almost non-existent now. because they're going to come and they're going to get him and they're going to pay him, and it's going to be the end of it. And and we talked about that a long time ago, that the trickle down effect is going to make these programs go away eventually if not regulated. And then if you go back and you look at the NCAA, I don't think that they're capable. Chuck, I just don't think they're capable of doing anything now. I don't even know what are they even useful at anything? Why are they there? What are they doing?
Don't know. You have that situation, but there's a threat of the money drying up. My wife works at a bank, a federal credit union. So I hear things that I'm not supposed to hear when I'm home, because she works from home. And then I read things. And I'm telling you, the banks are under threat right now. Question I have, what if, and that's a capital IF, what if the money dries up?
You're going to be a student athlete.
Okay.
I mean, what other choice do they have? I don't know the answer besides that. I mean, what is the answer?
I have no idea. That's why I asked that question.
Yeah.
Is money's being thrown around, and I'm reading stories that some people are filing lawsuits because they promised this and they didn't get nothing, or didn't get what they were promised, and so they're wanting their money. And so now you have Ryan Cooper Day going in Ohio State needing this money. Well, he promises this money. What happens if he can't deliver it?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? I mean, it's the Wild West.
To the transfer again?
But it's yeah. That's about all my only answer is yeah.
My point to the whole question thing is, I can see only trouble, serious trouble that can place on all of collegiate athletics. Do I want that trouble? No. If I would only want it if it would help change and turn around college athletics to be better college, to be collegiate athletics again. We're semi-pro right now.
Yeah, it's yeah. But anyway, I've got to make sure that I don't spend so much time talking about that, because it makes me angry, and when I spend a lot of time, and I'm sure the people that are listening going, David, will you shut up and talk about something else? So,
hey, look, doesn't happen at Gardner-Webb, doesn't happen at Presbyterian College, doesn't happen at Lenoir-Rhyne,
right.
Doesn't happen at Campbell, doesn't happen at Gardner-Webb.
UVA-wise, baby.
And UVA-wise, that's correct. Doesn't happen at those places. So our kids are going to get a pure, wonderful experience going off to collegiate football.
I laugh, and I know you know this. I think you do. The only thing, because again, in today's world, I look back and look if Jonathan had been his situation, he'd have been a multimillionaire at 17. But the only thing he asked, and I'll never is he got his courage up, and he went in and he said, "I want number 8. I want number 8, please. I don't want to come if I can't be number 8." And they said, "Oh yeah, you got your number." And that was the only thing he asked for. Was the jersey number. So how times have changed in 19 years.
Now a kid comes in and says, "I want number 8," and the coach looks at him and says, "Well, by the time you get here, number 8 will transfer." So yeah, 8 will play.
Yeah, he'll be done. But so I am so excited about tomorrow. Just a chance to talk to these young men and hear their stories, get a chance to celebrate them, past, present, and future. And these guys are, and one of the things that I was really tickled with the other day, I didn't get a chance to go to the signing ceremony because I was stuck in a classroom up at the Marriott by the airport for my annual state mandated school. Was just the excitement that all the kids and all the parents and in the whole school had for they looked at it. Yes, it's these four young men, but man, this is our program. This is our community. This is our school, and really just the enthusiasm. And it must have been a heck of a ceremony, and because it looked good from everything that I saw, and pretty awesome, pretty awesome deal.
You have kids all the way down from the current 11th grade down to sophomores, freshmen, and even middle school people that are watching that. Suddenly, it's like, if I dedicate myself and play and do what the coach just asked me to do and get myself better, I would have a chance to go to the next level.
Yeah,
and that's important to kids.
It is important to them. And the one thing that I want to make sure we talk about tomorrow that it takes so much effort that the people that just come on Friday nights and sit in the stands, they just don't understand. The effort when there's nobody there.
Right.
When it's a Tuesday morning at 5:30 and you want to be home in bed and you're pushing yourself to the point where you can't push any further, and then you got to go beyond that, and you do that day after day after day after day, and there's no fans, there's no crowd, there's no mom and daddy, it's just you, some coaches, and I want to be better today than I was yesterday, and I'm going to push myself beyond what I'm capable of doing. And that's the part that I've always loved. I go back again. You remember your young man when he was in high school and he wanted to play at the next level. What did he do, Chuck? Did he get in the weight room? The answer is yes. Did he work his fanny off when his buddies were out drinking a beer or doing this and that and the other? Yes. And that's the part that I like that I love to see rewarded.
Right. And when kids do that, and it's like the very comment I made to Chad Upton when I was his color guy on the radio broadcast of football. And I said, we talk in the positive, in that, kid gets an opportunity. He worked hard for the opportunity because he believed all these guys before him went, I have that legitimate shot. And I said, well, think differently. Think the opposite. You're one of those kids down there, one of those 40 kids that for the last 10 years that you followed your high school team and nobody went to college. There's no hope. It's gone. It's vanquished. Coach asked you to sell yourself to the team, and in return, you get to graduate and have memories. But his dream is to go off on the next level, and he feels it's shot. I have no opportunity. Chad had no answer for that. He thought that was one of the most profound statements, is that think of the kids that they're at a school where nobody recruits for them, helps them get to that path of opportunity. And they're sitting there going, well, what difference does it make? My season's over with, and this is the last I'm playing football, and nobody's recruiting me. They don't even know my name. The impact a really good coach like Jonathan and Donnie Kiefer can do for kids. Gives them hope.
But I also say, too, you're absolutely correct on that. But the one thing that Donnie, and I'm really and listen, I'm so proud of what Jonathan did this year, was player development. The other stuff comes second nature to people like Donnie and Jonathan, is we're going to do what we got to do for our kids. If it takes working 20 hours today, that's okay. But the player development, because I go back and I use Bryant as an example. Who knew what this kid could do as a receiver? Who knew that this kid? Who knew? He didn't know. And they developed him every day. every single day. So player development is a big deal, because to have 2 of your 5 offensive linemen signed to play college football is a big deal. And if I'm not mistaken, and I think they were they the only 2 seniors? I could be wrong. I think, but as far as that, I mean, that's a pretty good deal. Player development.
In a very short period of time. The last time Tuscola on National Signing Day had 4 signees to colleges was when Donnie Kiefer, the Brocious, the John Austin Chambers, the Graham, and you had those kids, and he had all those kids on signing day. That's the last time Tuscola had 4 until this past Wednesday.
Well, we're excited. Tomorrow's going to be a really good day. Chuck, we're gonna get off here, and anybody listen, if you want to help Chuck and I, Chuck and me, Janet corrected me. I apologize. Tell us who you think the sleeper teams are in this coming Major League Baseball season that aren't picked to win a division or even a playoff spot that you think can do that. Now, I know who I'm thinking, and when we have our meeting with our group to do, I know my suggestion right now. But folks, if you know something that we don't know, let us know, because it's looking good in Birdland. It's looking a little bit better in your world in Tigerland. And let me just start the season off before they even throw 1 pitch in spring training. They're going to blow it.
Seattle.
The Seattle Mariners, because John Taylor. They could go 162-0, and he's going to say they'll blow it.
And they will.
So anyway, thank you guys. We got a really special show tomorrow. Tell all your friends, everyone tune in. If you can't watch us live, it'll be posted in all, Tuscola Football Network. It'll be posted at everything that branches off of that from our Facebook side. It's on YouTube. It's on Instagram. Is that Instagram? I don't know how it is, but it is. And all these other places. So check us out tomorrow. Chuck, keep Deuce safe.
Oh, I do, because he's my basketball guru. Deuce, I'm just going to tell you, he's on a roll right now, and Uncle Chuck's piggybacking all the way through, because I don't know these teams.
Yeah, I don't know much about that anymore, but anyway, Chuck, I'll see you tomorrow morning at 10:00. Everyone turn in for part 1 of our 2-part special for our 4 college-bound guys. Thank you so much.
Did you see the picture? This picture is in the middle, in the centerpiece of the Alma College Tartan alumni book I just got today. Most beautiful. I sent it to you. Most beautiful picture of a college campus. It's not the entire campus, but it's sort of like the core. And the trees and all that stuff. The old Alma College.
Kilts up, baby. Kilts up.
Kilts up, baby.
All right. I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Chuck, have a good night. See you tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.
That around to him.